Alpha and Omega. Oh, you are Yahweh, Alpha and Omega. You are Yahweh. Voice and give you word. Yahweh, we bow down and worship Yahweh. We bow down and worship you, Lord. We bow down and worship Yahweh. We bow down and worship Yahweh. Your hands, raise up your voice and sing Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. Father, you are worthy, Lord. We lift your name high, Lord. Matchless love and beauty, endless world. Lord, nothing in this world, nothing in this world to satisfy. Jesus, you are the kind. Jesus, you're the kind that won't run dry. Who is is like you, Lord? Who is like you, Lord?
Who is like you, Lord, in all the earth?
Father, your matchless love,
Matchless love and beauty, endless worth.
oh Lord, nothing in this world.
Nothing in this world will satisfy.
Jesus, you are the God.
Jesus, you're the cup that won't run dry. Your presence
He's heaven to me, Lord. Your presence is heaven to me. Your presence, to me. Yes, your presence, oh Lord. Your presence
Your presence
is heaven to me, Lord. Your presence is heaven. Your presence is heaven to me.
Your presence
Oh,
is
to me, to me. Hey, so we sing it. Jesus, your presence, oh Jesus, your presence, Lord, your presence, oh Jesus, Father, we exalt your name. Your presence, oh Wherever you are, lift up your voice and offer worship unto Him. Wherever you are watching from, lift up your voice and bless His name this morning. He is worthy to be glorified. Father, Lord, we exalt your name, oh Lord. We give you glory. We give you glory. We give you glory. We give you all the glory, Lord.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Reverend Ismaila Awudu. I am bringing you this broadcast from ICG's East Legon, from Accra, Ghana. This is our broadcast, which actually teaches us where we engage you on practical Christianity or practical living, because we believe that man shall not live by bread alone, and we also believe that the body is made up of the spirit, the soul, and the body. So we need information, we need understanding of the times and the season to be able to carry ourselves wherever we find ourselves. So this section has been on for so many years, where we take our time to teach not only scriptural, but also to look at issues that are going on in our world. So our people or our congregation gets to be able to strategize themselves and position themselves to become knowledgeable as far as the world around them is concerned. Because the scriptures make it clear to us that we should be wise as doves and gentle. We should be wise as serpent and gentle as dove. We cannot live this life without knowing that there is a world around us, there are people around us, and we cannot be over spiritual without earthly relevance. So these are practical sections that I am coming to share with you as far as this broadcast is concerned, and I would want you to follow me as I share this together with you. And I know you would be blessed as you invite somebody to join this masterclass, I would be grateful as we extend a hand of fellowship to invite someone to also share with someone so that we can all be able to learn. I started this section, which I am ending today, on wisdom in crisis, and then I will continue next week with another series which has to do with the keys to unlock the greatness in you. Like I rightly said, these are sections which I do, they are more practical to be able to teach you about how you can maximize the world around you, take advantage and position yourself both in the area of your business, both in the area of your academia, both in the area of whatever area or profession you find yourself. Because this life we live is a practical life. And so I believe in more practicality than abstract. So this Tuesdays, normally the Tuesday teaching service is designed that way so that I lead you on more practical way of understanding how things are done in our lives. So I welcome you on board for this practical section, and I know you will definitely be blessed and your life will never be the same again. So I'm continuing with the wisdom in crisis, where I am ending on that section. I started about roughly 3 weeks ago, and I'll be finishing with you on this. And what is the wisdom of the wisdom in crisis? We're saying that we are we are all attacked with the COVID-19 all over the world, and things are not going to be the same after we are out of this. When you bring it to the perspective even of the church, the culture of the church is going to change significantly. For instance, the church is known by laying of hands. It's not going to be the same again. I mean, people will be skeptical, and it will be a challenge to even lay hands. Anointing services, people, where you anoint people and all of those things and go ahead and sweat and lay. It's not going to be like that again. The confidence to sit together and to integrate was also going to be a challenge. Though we are people of faith, but definitely we are also people of knowledge. And so as it goes on, and this involvement is going to change every phase of the church, our sacraments, the way we take communion, where those people can drink from the same cup, is going to be a challenge. So many things are going to change in the face of the church. The same thing when you come to the place of politics, you come to the area of economics, in political circles. I mean, a lot of things are going to change. It's not going to be the usual way of doing politics. It's going to be more of solution-based, and people are going to demand accountability in so many areas from all over the world. Journalism is going to change, it's going to get more robust, it's going to be more well critical to assess and to put leadership on its toes and become a critical watchdog. Economic sector is going to be the same. Businesses are going to move on to another area where many businesses are not going to have physical structures to be able to deal with their businesses. They will do more of conferences, webinars, Zooms, Skype meetings, and all of virtual engagement of business, where they will be able to scale it up and cut a lot of costs down to be able to also create a healthy environment so that at least they will not congregate more and be able to work from their homes, the comfort of their houses, and all of those across the globe. It's also going to happen, where we will need fast internet services to be able to help push most of the work that will be online. Online will be more engaged. Virtual things are more going to be engaged. Photography is not going to be the same. Media is not going to be the same. They are going to go on high level scale digital platforms, and all the aviation sector is going to be shaking. You remember even the 9/11, when the 9/11 occurred, it affected security, it affected aviation, it affected tourism and all those things for a long time before confidence of people. With the same way when the curve is bent and we begin to come to the end of this crisis, it's going to affect traveling a lot. The confidence, it will take a time before all those things will pick up. Major conferences will still be held online and by Zoom or by either virtual means and all of that. When you come to the telecommunications sector, it's going to change. So the banking and finance is also going to change. So many things are going to be done online. Many banks are rolling on to have apps and all of those things to encourage people to do more transaction online. The whole world where is heading towards paperless system is going to be more robust, is going to be more efficient and effective, that more things are going to be done online, more purchases online, more transaction payment online, whether in Africa or the rest of the world, we'll see more of physical cash transaction than it used to be. And so many things are going to happen to us in our cultural setting, in terms of the way we relate and all. It's also going to entrench more of family unions or relationships where husband and wife will have more time now. We'll not have more pressure at work right now. We'll have more time to be able to live together. The automobile industry is going to change because more new cars that will be coming in will be more of economic friendly and will not be more of fuel based because it will be reduced more. And so we have to look at all of those things. And all of these things are going to happen around us. In the world politics, like I said, whether we like it or there are superpowers or there are political games everywhere which actually controls our world economy, our culture, the way we do our things and all of those things. All those things are going to play within the world political blocks. Whoever is able to quickly come out of this COVID-19 and be able to stabilize and be able to keep its resources together and become robust as an economy will determine how investors' confidence will rise as to where people will go in to invest what they have and all those things. And also companies that are rather going to kick up again after all of those things will also need some kind of stimuli or capital injection. So the way the economy will play in terms of how countries are able to bounce back quickly and be able to loosen tax regimes and be able to infuse financial or inject finances into the banking sector for loans and for other things to be able to stimulate to be able to stimulate businesses and all those is also going to be critical. So all of these things are going to really, really play on the world front, which will not leave the church out. And if you're a child of God, you are also going to be evolved. And this is going to affect all of us. I want to read a scripture in Proverbs chapter 1, verse number 5. Proverbs 1, verse 5. For us to move on to whatever I'm sharing in practical terms. Proverbs 1:5 says, it says, a wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding will attain wise counsel. A wise man will hear and increase learning, a man of understanding will attain wise counsel. With all that is going on in the world now, you realize that a lot of people have lost their businesses, their jobs. They are struggling to be able to make ends meet. I shared with you the last time that when you looked at even America within the shortest time, there has been a lot of increase of job losses. About 10 million jobs within when the COVID-19 started and the whole challenge when it hit America within 2 weeks. 10 million jobs were gone, as against 8.8 million total job lost over 106 weeks between 2008 to 2010 during the recession. When you come to Ghana or you come to Africa, due to what has happened, a lot of businesses have asked their people to go home. Many people have lost their jobs. And they might be Christians, they might not be Christians. We are all involved. Many businesses are struggling to make ends meet. It's not that they are wicked, but the issue is that things are not the way it's supposed to be again. After all these things comes up before they could look at it. So I shared a perspective from CNN, and I was on the perspective shared by Forbes. And so I continue with that to be able to get you to understand that the world is not going to be the same. So what will you do when you come out? What will be your reaction when you come out? Our way of doing things in the old will not be the same. So there's a need for us to relax our wineskin and be able to position ourselves to take advantage of the new world order. When I say the new world order, I'm talking about new trends of doing things. New trends of doing things. And that is where the last time I started, I told you that number one, there will be a shift in the balance of world power. Whether we like it or not, there's going to be a shift in the world of in balance of world power. That is countries that are going to really come out of this COVID-19 quickly, and the way they are able to strategize and position the economy will determine investor confidence, will determine how robust the economy is able to move and all of those things. So it is critical that countries, and this is the time Africa can take advantage, because Africa have a lot of pluses. One, our genetic makeup. Two, our natural food, the natural things we have. Three, the sunshine, our ability to have a consistent sunshine over a period, which is natural therapy. Our ability to be able to situate ourselves and begin to work together, the bilateral relationship and being deepened and all of those things. When African leaders begin to fall back on our natural resources and begin to work together as a team, and we are able to do what, they will become an envy of the world. it might be a new rising of the African continent, depending upon our leadership and what they are able to do within this time. It will give us an edge to be able to get the world now begin to focus towards us, where we will now begin to determine the bargaining as to where the world will be heading towards in terms of how the world will play. But like I said, it will depend on our leadership, the ECOWAS, the AU, the way they are able to play together to be able to take advantage of this moment. But when we come to the other world shifting policy, whether European or whatever it is, we'll be seeing either China or the Asian countries trying to edge their way up, and then where you see America also trying to quickly work itself out to be able to push in, Russia also coming. So there will be a play. By the end of the day, we will really see who is able to emerge. And remember, anyone that is able to emerge begin to control the flow of the economy. Before now, you realize China was everywhere. I mean, the Chinese took over, even controlling American economy, controlling most of the economies of the world, and Africa and all those things we were to them until this COVID-19 started from Wuhan and spread to the rest of the world, and for which we are all battling with and dealing with it. It tells you now, when they are able to come back again and work themselves faster, they will be able to devise new strategies and abilities to be able to help nations that are trying to recover to be able to recover. But you realize that this sickness gives every nation a peculiar nature, where you have to be able to have a mutation to be able to understand how the virus works within your environment, to be able to tackle it and tackle it effectively, which calls for accurate data, which calls for vigorous tracing, which calls for vigorous testing, and which calls for vigorous treatment. And once you are able to get accurate data, vigorous testing, vigorous tracing, vigorous treatment, and it is there, then you'll be able now to determine your curve and realistically make informed decisions and choices concerning your economy as going to be. Yes, it spreads all over the globe, but every country has its own way by which the infection takes place and how the virus operates in the lives of the people, depend upon the environment, the climate, weather changes, weather pattern changes, and how the people are even responsive to hygiene and how they are also responsive to rule of law. It's very, very critical. So all those are there. So there will be a shift in the area of world power. Now, a highly automated production infrastructure will save energy and not only lower production cost. You realize that before now, production cost all over has increased. Production cost all over is very, very high. Many industries will tell you production cost is very high, whether it be human, in terms of resource, in terms of machinery, and all of those is very, very high. But after this COVID-19, there will be more of the things will be more automated. It will be more automated. So we will see more of automated infrastructure, and that will save energy and not only lower production cost, but also will improve quality. So we'll get more quality in terms of production and all of that. The resulting when the infrastructure improves and all of it, and the saving of energy comes in, which will reduce emission and all of that, and lower production costs. The resulting is that reduction in human working hours will help us maintain better health. There will be a lot of reduction in human working hours, where you will not go in to work for a longer period, but you work within a certain time, and other times could be used for other things as well, and will allow business to carry on without interruptions should the crisis hit again. So whenever there should be any crisis, definitely you have already built the virtual system of working relationship, and so it becomes easy to deal with it. The other thing that is going to increase confidence in technology. Many people are going to, as you realize now with the lockdown and with the COVID-19 invention of social distance and all of those things, people who hitherto were not used to technology in terms of Facebook, in terms of Twitter, in terms of Instagram and everything have increased. When you realize that, Facebook, the traffic to Facebook, the traffic to Instagram, to Twitter, to all the social platforms, social network platforms has increased or quadrupled than it used to be. That should tell you that it's a new emergence. It's a new emergence where now, like I said, we have to find ways of even having internet to villages, to hamlets, not only cities, and have faster broadbands to be able, because people will now have to go online more. There's going to be a heavy online presence, and if there's going to be a heavy online presence, it means that businesses are going to be done more on online. So you going online only to chat in terms of postings and chat with people you can now turn it away to start monetizing your activities online if you have not taken it serious, because the market now is going to be determined online. Banking will be online, marketing will be online, health, legal, everything. There will be a heavy presence of online activity. So if you are able to master it, shipment of your product, tracking of your shipment and all of that, everything is going to go digital. So you have to be able to begin to reorient yourself and take advantage of whether you find yourself in the freight forwarding industry, whether you find yourself in law, whether you find yourself in the medical field, whether you find yourself in pastoral ministry as a pastor or the church, whether you find yourself in the health sector as a nurse or a doctor or a pharmacist or a paramedics or whatever it is, whether you find yourself in the legislature, whether a legislative person, whether a policy person, whether in the area of education, whichever area you find yourself in the aviation sector, the transport sector, you have to know that many things are going to migrate onto digital platforms, and you have to be able to upgrade yourself in those areas. So there is going to be increased confidence in technology and technical performance. Online payment sectors are causing, they will cause what they call the consumer change behavior. So many people would like to pay by electronic means, either by Momo or by Swift or by Visa card or by that mode of payment, electronic mode of payment. So if you're a business and you are only used to the traditional way of doing business, where you want people to come in and queue and pay you money and all those things, there will be less queuing. People would like to order their things online. So you need to have a market segment in terms of your selling of your product. You have to be able to create a very heavy presence of your product online, where people can order online and pay online. So because we are entering more into a cashless system, so that you will not fade out with your business. You will be looking for more traffic, but you will not get it. People will now more be able to go online to order their goods, order for their food, even restaurants book for restaurants to be able to go and eat and pay and all of that. They would like to avoid using more of touching cash. And so you should be able to work on yourself and begin to master technology. If wherever you are, if you have not done it, you have to now start some. You can go online again, because there's a lot of tutorials you can go. There are free ones and there are ones that you can pay for it, and they are not expensive. So that you begin to, as a businessman, as a marketing person, whatever you are doing, you begin to have tutorials about how to do and to master technology or to master social media engagement. So that you don't fall behind. When all these things go, you cannot continue to work or to move in your traditional way of doing things. Remember, whether doing church or whether you are in business or whether you are selling and all of that, there will be more heavy presence of the market. So if you are app creator, you are able to create an app which is more market friendly and be able to get people to hook onto that platform, and payment and other things are there, and your firewalls are well built for security and all. Remember, when that happens also, there will be a lot of cyber attacks and all of those things. But if you're able to build your firewalls well and all of those things, you'll be able to master. If you're in the banking sector, the banking area is going to change. So you have to now begin to upgrade yourself to understand how the banking software is technological is be able to work. Don't be a traditional teller where you are only receiving money and counting and all of. Begin to upgrade yourself and begin to think about the changes that are going to come, so that you still secure your job and you will not lose your job. This will force us to adopt new trends, such as working from home, and move towards a future that could be free of brick and mortar office at large. You would gradually, people will be shifting from going into an office where everybody is sitting within an office, that big building. People will not be renting big offices again and all of those things to work in it and all, because they would cut down costs. Where people will work from home, there will be less movement on the streets. So cars, in terms of fuel and the carbon dioxide is going to reduce, because most of the cars are going to go electronics or electrical and all of that. So there will be less concentration on fuel consumption and all of those things. And the same thing in the industrial, where heavy industrialization, there's going to be a review of all of those things. It's going to be more mechanized in terms of how they program with robots and all of them and programming. So they just they'll program the machine and leave the machine. The machine is able to work and to process from the raw material stage through to the finished product stage, to labeling, to everything, without any human involvement. Everything is going to work. It is just about programming. And then when it gets to packing, it is feed in, and then it begins to pack and load it. When it's finished, it seals it and then moves on. Those are the things that are going to happen. So you will not get big infrastructure. There will not be need for big places and all those things. Even when you come to the music industry and all those things, you realize that concerts where we used to pack ourselves and all those things are going to change. So musicians and events planners and all of those have to begin to think about it. There's going to be more of virtual events taking place and and where you can connect to everybody, and at the same time, if your gift should come, your gift can come to you through those virtual means and all of those. So all of this, if you're an event planner, you have to begin to think about all of these things and see how best you begin to reorient yourself and begin to learn more of digital event planning and be able to situate yourself. Number 4, there will be a long-term decrease in business travel due to the emergence of video conferencing tools, with high net worth individuals preferring to travel via private jets as opposed to first class air travel. Like I rightly said, the aviation sector or the traveling sector is going to have a challenge. So it's also important for you to know that there's going to be an increase in travel. And these are the Forbes perspective by Khalud, which I was sharing with you. His findings I had. And I know it was relevant with the time. So that's why I'm sharing with you. There will be a long-term decrease in business travel. A long term, like I said, when the 9/11 came, you realize that traveling became a challenge because the kind of security you'll be subjected to and the things you go through, the mistrust and everything, does not become appealing for people to travel. In the same way with this COVID-19 that has hit us, when it is over, within a short time, you will not get people trying to love to travel because there will be, or going to gathering centers and everything, there will be a long walk to be able to win ourselves more for confidence. So people who have private jet businesses will be able to start making more money because people who can afford to start to go towards that places because the airlines will now have to kick up gradually for you to. So there will be a lot of more of emergence of video conferencing tools, which already is happening under the COVID-19. There's a lot of video conference tools that have come out where companies and businesses are using, and it's not going to diminish. It is going to be a boom in that area where there is going to be a lot of money. When it comes to even trainings, a lot of trainings are going to be done online. So like coaches, training coaches, those who are into certified training coaches and everything will begin to make more money on that level. If you're a journalist and you are only used to the traditional way of doing media, you have to reorient your mind because it's going to scale up to another level where you'll be sitting in your home to still broadcast and still work as if you are working within your studios and be able to disseminate information and be able to monitor the world and report real-time issues and all of that. So you have to take note of that. The other thing is that government will introduce e-services throughout the region. E-services, that is electronic services. So electronic services, you will see that we will start to have electronic platforms for services, digitalization of our, our streets, our houses, our way of payment and all of those things. They should. United Arab Emirates is doing very well in this area in e-services and all of those things. And if you look at it now, even with the COVID-19, their police have some kind of when they put the helmet on, is able to detect and to trace whether you are infectious or your temperature and everything is able to read you out. All of these things are technological advancement in the leverage of their selling and all of those. The e-services have taken place. So we have to be able to know that these are going to take place. So we have to position ourselves, which we have continued to serve residents throughout the pandemic, including courts, our immigration, our passport services, our ministries, and various institutions, our ports of entry, our ports. We carry on with our businesses at the port in terms of clearing of goods, in terms of entry into the manifest, whatever we do, whatever thing is there, they are all going to go on e-platforms, and we need to improve it to be able to help. So if you don't understand some of these things and you only know of making sure that, listen, I need the traditional way, gradually you'll be fading off because the whole world is now congregating at one point for business. And if you have to stay relevant, you need to do it. Our airports and all of those things have to be more enhanced and robust in e-services and to be able to help. Like before now, when you get to Malaysia and Singapore and all of those things, they have upgraded highly to e-service platforms. And when you get in there, their immigration, their security, their processing of your passport and everything, there is no hassle. It's very smooth. And then you move on. You only need to know how to enter in and everything and work with the systems. And that is how it's going to be. Hotels were there before now. And now it's going to get where you get in, you check in, and you do your things without any hassle. It's all about playing with gadgets and the services that are there, from ordering of your food, from checking to your hotel, ordering of your food, room service, cleaning, whatever, you just go through it. So it tells you that the hotel industry or the hospitality industry is also going to change. Number 6, what they came out with, that government, business leaders, and companies will allocate more budget for investing in healthcare and healthcare products after discovering the gaps in the global system while fighting the coronavirus. More tech setups will emerge with creative applications. If you realize it, with the coming in of the COVID-19, from the WHO perspective and from whatever world every nation has gone through, from the advanced world to the from the developing world and the developed world, all of them have come to realize that in as much as possible there has not been much done in our health sector. So it has exposed the health sector. And what they are saying is that when you look at it, governments or nations or business leaders and companies will now try to allocate more money into the pharmaceutical, into the healthcare sector, where there's going to be robust healthcare systems to be able to take care of further crises that might emerge, because this might not be the end of COVID-19. It's not the end of crisis that will hit the world, because before COVID-19 there has been several of them before now. In the same way, until Jesus tarries and we don't leave, we will definitely have to brace ourselves that others will come. So what it means is that there's going to be more money that is going to be pumped into research, health facilities, medicine, vaccines development, pharmaceutical, and all of that. Many nations are going to pump money in over the years where it has been neglected. There's going to be there will be more demand on health workers, from doctors to nurses to pharmacists to paramedics. There's going to be more demand for health professionals. For health professionals, it tells you that we are moving into a world of highly skilled, sought after people, where it is not about your book, it's not about the school you went to, it is about your skill, problem solving skills, whether in the banking sector, whether in the aviation sector, whether in the health sector, whether in the military, whether in the police force, whatever area you want to work in. You have to know that the world now will be looking for more of highly qualified, skilled people who are able to solve problems. So we have to now begin to reorient our mind from our traditional way of learning, where we go to the schools, the universities, we finish, and we cannot be able to do anything. We now have to go through all kinds of trainings and shape ourselves before we get it. The world education in terms of solution base is going to emerge, and there will be demand. So those who have skills in the health sector, skills in the aviation sector, skills in marine, skills in trade and commerce, any kind of skill you have that you are sharpening it, you are going to be in high demand after this COVID-19. Watch it. And especially those of you in the tech industry, there's going to be a lot of demand on you. So you need to be able to, don't take it, don't be lazy, build up your capacity. If you have forgotten about some of your softwares and networks and everything, begin to start reorienting your mind and learning faster, because there is going to be much demand in all of those things. Skill is going to be demanded. If you're a pastor, you're a man of God, you have to begin to educate yourself, because the traditional way of doing church is going to change. So your presentation, your knowledge base, your information base, and everything is going to be demanded, because the congregants that you are going to engage now will be congregants that need to be informed. They need to be empowered. They need to be transformed. They need to be encouraged, so that they can face their world and begin to compete and be able to scale. So your message, your delivery, your positioning, your branding is going to be very, very key. And the gospel have to travel and become more acceptable. So you have to understand it. You cannot just be of the spirit and not of the physical relevance. It is about time we have to understand that, because the world is never going to be the same. Number 7, trust in local government. The ills will increase due to the strong defensive measures taken to control the pandemic. Central banks have injected large sums for financial institutions and offered unprecedented exemptions that were not provided before. Like I rightly said, if you looked at it with this COVID-19 that has entered in most parts of the world, I mean from America to wherever to Asia, the economy has been sustained in one way or the other, where there has been injection of finance, of support to be able to, and this will build trust in the local government. Will be trust in the local government. In the same way, when you come to Africa, if you are able to do all of those, it will be trust in the local government, because either two, there are some kind of skepticism about how our resource, the country's resource all over the world is being utilized You realize America went into a whole lot of challenge to say that they use their money more into more of war than taking care of the citizens and everything. Now with this advent, now more money is being put to be able to sustain businesses and all of those things, and to take care of healthcare and to save lives. You get to the United Kingdom, is the same thing. Now there is no more war. The planes, jets are not flying. The monies are sitting. They have to use the money now and channel it into the life of human beings. The life of human beings, the need of human beings, and taking care of the vulnerable areas where they neglected before that they were not looking at. Now they are channeling their energy, their resource, and their everything to look into it. In the same way, if African governments and leaders will also look at it and begin to develop that and look at channeling the resource that they have and everything into the building up and salvaging the economy and stimulating businesses and giving, friendly environment for businesses to thrive and everything, then it means that when that happens, then there will be trust in the local government system, and there will be trust in the leadership of Africa, and out of that also there will be trust in the environmental, in terms of business, the business environment, and then the private sector that we say is the engine of growth will become more robust to be able to work and to be able to produce and to be able to feed the people and also create more job opportunities. So it is critical we looked at that area. 8, there'll be social change that recognizes the side of life that we might have been too busy to acknowledge before. The international community has joined together in global empathy to stand united. Philanthropic initiatives have been created, and humanitarian aid offers as billionaires donated millions of dollars to help save people's lives. You realize that either from the church and from the world, you realize there are only few that stands out for humanitarian purposes. We can name them that are there that were doing those humanitarian things, and they're reaching out to people in the world in war-torn areas and all of that. But with the advent of the COVID-19, we saw the vulnerability of humanity, that you realize that people that naturally will not give out to society started giving out to society. Humanitarian activities has increased all over the world, from the church to the private sector to the business sector to the government to everywhere. Now we have realized that, like Jesus said in the parable of the rich man, that the rich man gathers into his barn and said, tomorrow I'm going to spend on it. We have got, and the Bible says that he said, you fool, tomorrow your life will not be with you. And tomorrow he died. And he says, for what shall it profit the man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? We have all gradually have come to realize, from government to businessmen to companies to whatever, that when we talk of social impact, it is not about what we amass, but it's about what we give out. So in the same way, when this COVID-19 has come to reorient us in new ways of reaching out to one another, you realize that care for one another has increased. The usual selfishness and self-centeredness is leaving, and people are gradually learning to become each other's keeper and to reach out, either in a small way or in a big way. And this is going to increase, it's going to create a more sense of empathy. And so you have to know, in the same way, what it means therefore is that if you have done a course in an area which talks of more of a course that deals with humanitarian services, it means that you have to know that as the years go by, your demand will be more in those areas, because many companies will now, those companies that do not have social change policies will now begin to enter in there. So they will create more systems and structures to employ people who have the skill and the know-how to reach out to communities and to carry out social intervention initiatives. Number 9, the positive impact that this pandemic has had on our environment will last. NASA and the ESA both found that there had been a drop in nitrogen dioxide in part of China and Italy in March. Meanwhile, the Center for International Climate Research in Oslo estimates there will be a 1.2% decline in carbon dioxide emissions in 2020, using global GDP forecast from the OECD. Now, what it simply means is that you realize that global warming has become a challenge. The depletion of the ozone layer and all of those things, which is creating more of skin diseases and is creating all kinds of sicknesses and all of those things, pneumonia, and all of those challenges in everywhere. And you know that the United Nations many times, superpowers, America, China, Japan, and all of those heavy industrialized cities and nations have met several times, and charters have been signed, there have been findings and all of those things. All of those challenges have been going on, where it's bringing a lot of pollution which is affecting our food, is affecting the air we breathe, is affecting our marine, and all of fishes are dying, and all of pollutions all over. And he's saying that based on this challenge of the COVID-19 and the industrialization thing that is graduating or shifting into technology more, what it means is that it has been proven by research that the Center for Climate Research in Oslo has estimated there will be a 1.2 decline in carbon dioxide emission in 2020. So the good news is that with that reduction, it will help to refine the air we breathe, and it will go a long way to help with our health and all of that. And nations and countries that are suffering from this global warming and climate change and everything, you realize to bring funny why you see any climate change and you see these tsunamis and all of those things, it is not because it has to be, but it's because of the activities, industrialization, which has created all those things. And what it means is that when those things are reduced, it will also reduce certain natural catastrophes that will take place. Number 10, the education system, which I am trying to push to end into. The education system will be transformed, with schools closing in 188 countries all over the world. According to UNESCO, United Nations Education Scientific Organization, says that 188 countries all over the world are closing in, where they are having homeschooling programs. Homeschooling programs where you now engage your student from home. And this will allow parents to help in developing their children's skills and discovering their talent. Before now, most parents don't have time for their children. They don't even know who is their teacher and what they do and whatever it is and all of that, because everybody is busy running around. But with this advent of COVID-19, it has created a platform for educations to be able to reach out to their members or to their students online. And so what it means is that there are assignments that are given online. The children sit down to do it. Parents have no choice than to join them and be able to get it done. So it also helps to improve the children's cognitive skills. It also helps to improve the memories of the parents themselves and be able to challenge them, and also helps to bond. The parent begins to bond with the children and begin to understand the children in terms of their developmental formation. And one of the things that over the years that has robbed the world is about parental guidance and children systematic development. So it creates a lot of deficiency and inequality and challenges in the world all over, where some children have lost their self-confidence, and they think when they do artificial other things before they can be enhanced and all of those things, where children does not have the indigenous family relationship where they can relate to their parents to understand and all of that. So, but they have to begin to work towards it and understand that this is a new day and a new era where we begin to do things differently. And so we are going to do things differently. Parents are going to, because of the education search, they are now going to learn and help with their children, and their children will take over. And as they learn, they bond, that bond is there. The children's skills are improved, and they are able to know the talent of the children. They are able to know the talent. Schools closing all over the world. So there will be the need for homeschooling programs. For instance, if you're a software planner, you're able to write more softwares for home planning activities in terms of home education and all of that. You are going to make money. Schools that are able to also learn to not to become more, as it were, more traditional, but you are able to become, to share with, to have system that accommodates people who are not in the physical classroom. You begin to make money. So what it simply means is that when we come out of this COVID-19, there will be physical structures though for your school, but begin to think of your education online and push it to that level, and that would help you. As of today, we realize that our health comes first. Through this COVID-19, everybody is becoming health conscious. So what you eat, your exercise, and everything is critical. So we have to learn that the world has come to a critical point where we can no more play with our health, we can no more play with our work, we can no more play with our education, we can no more take the people for granted, be it government, be it businesses, be it church, be it everybody. We have to know that now humans are becoming important. The way we do our business is going to be critical. If you have not yet upgrade yourself technologically, you have to do it. There is going to be the demand for us to change the way we do things. And so it is based on that I came your way to alert you and know that, listen, the world will not be the same. And if the world will not be the same, then there is the need for you to relax your wine skin, to be flexible. Because you would fall out and you become confused, because you will not be able to compete in the next world that is coming. But we need to become more competitive. More competitive. So what you need to do is that begin to develop yourself as far as technology is concerned. Begin to reorient yourself in the area of finance and economics. Begin to work on yourself to improve your skill wherever you are working, because there will be a high demand in skill. Don't say my work, my work is, they will not need me. It will hit you. And you realize that you will not fit in. It will not be a devil thing. It is lack of knowledge. Remember Isaiah 4 says, for lack of knowledge my people perish. So take advantage of the knowledge that is available. There is a lot of online courses going on. There's a lot of online engagement to be able to position you, to make you. Please take advantage of it. Reorient yourself. Learn more as a child of God. Be wise as a dove and gentle as a serpent. Redeem the time, because the days are evil. That's what Ephesians 5 tells us. So I'm challenging you as I'm bringing these to a close. These sections I've had with you. Wisdom in crisis, that you become wise. Remember, for Isaac was wise as God instructed him in Genesis 26. So he was able to survive the famine. In the same way, Joseph in Egypt, because of the wisdom of God, was able to guide the whole of Egypt, and they survived the famine. In the same vein, you and I can also survive this COVID-19, and our business can survive if only we become wise and be able to understand that the world trend, the whole world systems are changing, and they are changing very fast. That when we don't change with the trend, we'll fall behind. When we start to read meanings into everything as devilish, as satanic, as everything, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be behind, just like the church has been behind, and every time the church will be behind before it starts running to catch up. But this time, don't let us be. Let us catch up so that we can situate ourselves and become more strategic. When this is all over, our services will still be needed. We shall still be relevant at our workplaces. We shall still be relevant with our businesses. We shall still be relevant with our education. We shall still be relevant, as Jesus said on Matthew chapter 5, we shall be truly the salt of the earth and the light of the world, where we will give direction, where we will season, and where we will lead as true leaders who are not ashamed of the gospel of God. That when we find ourselves wherever as a child of God, wherever we are working, people will identify that we really know what we are about, and we can still make our money to still keep ourselves going, to still take care of our family and build a healthy family and build a healthy lifestyle. Remember, this COVID-19 has come to expose our foundation in terms of our health, our dieting, our exercise, our attitude towards life, and everything has changed. This is not the time for us to criticize people or to criticize one another. This is the time we have to have an introspection and reflection of our life and begin to change from our ways, our old ways, and begin to embrace new things. It is said that the only thing that is constant is change, but it is only the fool that says, I will never change. So it is time that, as wise as we are, we have to embrace change, because it is through change that you become relevant. And anytime you learn to change, you don't die, you live. Because why? You become relevant to your season and your time. So I challenge you to walk within the wisdom of change and transition, so that things don't take you by surprise, but you will be on top of issues and be able to take the world by surprise. Because by the combination of knowledge and of the spirit, you can become relevant, where your bosses will look for you and they will always work to pay you, because God is your strength. Don't pray only when you don't have the skill. As we are praying, let's also learn to combine it with the skill, so that with prayer and with skill, we'll stand out. Remember, David was able to go into the palace of Saul by highly recommended, not because he can only pray and worship, but because Bible says that he was a man who was skillful at playing the harp. There's something that distinguished him from all others. The skill, the skill, the skill, the skill. Get the skill. Develop your skill. Don't become traditional. Become transitional so that you can be able to take advantage of the years that we are going to enter. It's going to be an exciting year after COVID-19. It's going to be very, very exciting. Things are going to become more faster, more robust, and everything. Society is going to get more exciting and all of that. But it can only work well for those that were able to prepare themselves and they transited. Remember Proverbs chapter 6 verse 6. Be like the ants who do not have a leader, but they gather their food in summer and they prepare themselves for the worst times. Make sure, because this COVID-19 has proven to us, a lot of us, that those of us who took financial investment for granted and we didn't take our money serious, right now within this time, within this short time, people are bleeding, people are struggling. Our finances have dipped, it's gone down. I mean, businesses that did not have strength, it's showing. Churches, with the lockdown and everything, it's showing. You can imagine if there are other sources, other multiple streams of income, you could see that you could be surviving. So it's about time that we learn financial knowledge and financial intelligence to also help to be with us. And above all, don't forget that within all of these things, there is the need for security, sensitivity, and cyber security. So please learn, 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 and learn. Because these are times for knowledge and not times to play. God bless you. Thank you for making time to listen to me. My name is Reverend Ismaila. I hope you have learned and you are going to apply your heart unto wisdom. I will come your way next week Tuesday as I come to share with you the keys for your greatness. The keys for your greatness. And you wouldn't like to miss it. Remember, these are practical sections that I would like to engage you with. So make time, invite somebody for next week Tuesday at 5 p.m. where I engage you again for this practical teaching. Thank you for making time to listen to me and to watch me. They are going to display the contact numbers if you want to reach me, if you want to, for prayer counseling and for anything, they are going to be there. If you want to engage me, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media platforms, on podcasts, on Stitcher. I'm on all of that at Reverend Ismaila. YouTube, when you Google me, I am there, so that you can hear more from what I have to share with you. I am more of a practical preacher than an abstract preacher. I always want to speak to your heart because I believe in the development of humanity and I believe in the excellence of doing things. And together I know, because our God is a creator and is an innovator. So learn to become creative, learn to be innovative, because the world will come for you. Amen. Thank you so much for hearing me. God bless you. Peace, shalom to you. Amen.
We hope you have been blessed by our online streaming broadcast. Make a date with Reverend Ismaila Awudu again on Tuesday 5 p.m., Friday 5 p.m., and on Sunday to give your offerings and for payment of your tithes and pledges in support of this ministry. Please dial the USSD code *447*500# on all mobile networks. You can also make bank transfers to EcoBank, Bank Branch East Legon, account name ICGC East Legon, account number 144-100-007-9332. Alternatively, visit icgceastlegon.mychurchpay.com or download my ICGC app on Google Play Store or Apple App Store. For prayer, counseling, and inquiries, please contact us on 020-848-846-8862 or 057-226-0434. Also, engage and connect with us on all our social media platforms at ICGC Yahweh via Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. God bless you.